You're watching Tri Vibes TV. Welcome back to another training vlog video where I'm here to talk through all of the training I'm doing to prepare for Ironman Texas coming up in April of 2027. I haven't made a training vlog or training video update in about 3 weeks now, and I am so happy to be back here in the chair, in the studio, and sharing my triathlon journey once again. It's been a great 3 weeks. I've had a wonderful trip to the wonderful country of Italy. All of the travel and the sleep deprivation and like the international going back and forth to America is all very exciting, but it's also very difficult to maintain a training schedule when you're traveling like that. And I really took this as an opportunity to take my foot off the gas. I barely did any training while I was in Florence, and I really just tried to enjoy my time there, and it worked really well. I truly didn't feel much pressure about my triathlon training during the time I was there. In fact, I felt relaxed enough to go ahead and officially sign up for Ironman Texas. And that was also a very exciting experience. It's always fun to sign up for an Ironman. And the fact that I was able to do it in a beautiful city like this, on a special trip with my family, definitely was the right time for me to sign up. Also, the last day of the Flex 90 benefits. So in today's video, I'm going to talk through a couple of the major things that have happened in the last couple weeks. We'll take a look at my training since I've returned here to Texas. I am getting things going, getting the engine moving again, throwing logs onto the fire, and maybe working a little too hard already, as you'll see when we go over my Garmin training status. But before we touch on the Garmin and the TriSchedule app and all of the training I've been able to get done, I just want to go over a few things that are really exciting overall here as it pertains to my training. So number one, signed up for the race, signed up for Ironman Texas like I already mentioned. I also signed up for a 70.3 relay at Ironman 70.3 in Galveston. So that's a couple weeks before Ironman Texas. I'm so excited to be doing the bike leg of the relay. My good friend and former Ironman colleague coached this athlete for a number of years, got him ready for his first Ironman. He is going to be doing the swim. And then my coach, Johnny Z, my coach for the last 5 or 6 years, is going to be the runner on the relay. So with the three of us, I think that we actually have a shot at putting a really good relay together, maybe even winning an award for the relay at the race. And all of that, I think, will be a super fun way to get prepped mentally and physically for myself for Ironman Texas, for take number 3. Ironman number 4 and attempt number 3 at Ironman Texas coming up in April. That is very much what this video series is about. So I think it's important to just share that here, that we are officially signed up for not just Ironman Texas, but also the relay a couple weeks before at Ironman 70.3 Galveston. All right, second big thing. I turned 41 years old this past weekend. I had a blast celebrating my weekend, celebrating my birthday weekend. Started sort of pre-celebrating my birthday a little bit early in the week as well. I'm someone who really looks forward to my birthday every year. The numbers don't bother me. And I think that my first year of my 40s was just absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed the last day of my 40s as much as I enjoyed the first day of my 40s. My 40th year. So that being said, I think that it's really important to, acknowledge these landmarks, celebrate them when possible. And I'm really, really grateful that this year I was able to celebrate and truly feel a lot of love from my family and my friends here. So outstanding birthday weekend, and I am ready for 41. All right, the final thing that I'd like to touch on before diving into the training is that I've really made up my mind that I want to try and really commit to swimming over the next 6 months leading up to the third attempt at Ironman Texas. I was not focusing on swimming the last 2 years preparing for that race, but this is the time to really, really focus. And I'm hoping to be swimming 2 to 3 to 4, potentially even more times per week as we roll into the fall. So stay tuned for all of that, because it's going to be a lot of swimming talk, a lot of maybe even some separate swimming content that I make specifically about my progress in the pool. But that is definitely something, an overarching theme that I've decided moving forward I'm going to be focusing on quite a bit. And the final big thing that I think is really important to the context for, the bigger picture of my training beyond swimming, biking, running, and strength training, I have recently rehired my Pilates instructor. I am back with the Vibrant Pilates gang. I spent a number of years doing Pilates with Vibrant Pilates for, I think it was probably 2.5 or 3 years, and I really benefited from it. I was in there at least once a week, and I haven't gone to Pilates in a number of years, but it's time. It's time to get back. So I am sort of moving some levers behind the scenes. I'm adding in more things. I'm going to focus more on swimming. I'm going to focus more on strength training and mobility via Pilates 3 times per week. And if everything goes the way I hope it will go moving forward, I'm going to be training even more on a weekly basis than I have ever before. And I feel like it's a time to sort of prepare for that mentally. I'm going to try to step it up, more Pilates, more strength training via Pilates, more swimming, and then also relying on my coach to keep my bike and run programming where they need to be. So it's a tall order, but training for an Ironman, no matter what, is going to be a tall order. I'm just confident that doing this, once a year, I'm really getting a good idea of, trying to focus on one thing at a time. I'm not putting pressure on myself to try to figure it all out. So overall, themes out of the way. Let's dive into the second part of today's video, which is going to be a look at the last couple of weeks of my training. I do try to keep track of what I'm doing on like a day-to-day basis here in these vlogs. So I'll breeze through most of this pretty quickly and kind of shout out some of the more standout workouts and training sessions over the past couple of weeks. But it's going to feel good to get all of this taken care of and get caught up here with the vlog series. So let's dive in and take a look at my training over the past few weeks using the brand new TriSchedule.ai web platform. This is really cool. Check it out. All right, so here we are inside the new TriSchedule.ai platform. You access TriSchedule.ai through a web browser. I'm currently using Google Chrome to get the TriSchedule.ai platform up here. And it's a website, so you simply go to it on any other type of browser, on your phone, on your computer, and you log in just with the same login information that you would use for your TriSchedule app. And this AI platform has access to everything that is in your TriSchedule app. So that means all of your training data, your heart rate, your power, your elevation, all that data that comes normally into the TriSchedule app is here inside TriSchedule.ai once you log into your account. So these two things work together in harmony. And this is a powerful tool that lets you use an AI prompt to find out information about your training data. You can also use AI tools like a plan builder, workout builder. You can create courses using AI, and these features are expanding on a weekly basis. As TriSchedule.ai grows, we're hoping to grow along with them and continue to demonstrate these features. Today, we're just going to take a look at the workout metrics from my last couple of weeks of training. We're going to start there, and like I said, we'll unpack other features from TriSchedule.ai as we go forward in this video series. So huge shout out to TriSchedule for sponsoring today's video. Back to the week before I went to Florence, I had a pretty normal week, doing some swimming on Monday, some cycling, keeping to my usual kind of thing the week before. And then once we got to Florence, I really only did one training run the entire time. I went running once. It was about 6 miles. It was amazing because I got to run up and got this amazing view. The Piazza di Michelangelo, I believe, is the area that I stopped at and turned around. Amazing view of the city. That's where I got the photo from the background, the first part of this video. And I also decided to go and sign up for Ironman Texas immediately after finishing this run. I was really feeling it towards the end of the run. I was like, today is the day. We're going to sign up for an Ironman. And I really enjoyed that run that I got to do in Italy. Even though it was really the only training run that I got to do, it was very enjoyable. So as you see, Monday, Tuesday, nothing. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, lots of nothing. I really did a lot of walking around and eating. That is pretty much all I did while I was in Florence, and no regrets. The food is amazing. The city is amazing. Just being there with my family and taking a real break from training was so welcome. And it was really easy to do because, I don't have a car out there. I'm walking everywhere. It's just, I'm so out of my usual that it just felt like impossible to try and figure out how to do all my normal training. So it was really easy to just say, oh, nope, no training this week. So when I got back, I had a little bit of a fire lit under my butt, for real. Like this first week of training, I'm kind of flying autopilot. I'm off my training plan at this point. In fact, the race I was training for, my training plan was built around a race, an Olympic distance triathlon in September that had to get canceled, unfortunately. So that made it even easier to take my foot off the gas. I mean, the race I wanted to do next got canceled. So got back, no training plan, just sort of trying to get myself moving again. On Monday, I went and swam 1,000 yards. I also did a little bit of easy cycling and some walking as well. So Tuesday, I really went for it. Started out the day with strength training in the morning. Then I went and did a 10-mile bike ride. And then I went and did a run. And then I went and did my first Pilates session. So Tuesday, I just stacked it right off the bat. Really kind of shocked my system a little bit, but I'm down for that, Wednesday, got to the pool, 900 yards of swimming. Also did a little bit of walking, and I've been walking almost every day because, I lost my dog, Thor, in April, and ever since then, I haven't had my own dog, but, we have a dog that lives here. My mother-in-law's dog lives here, and I have been walking him twice a day, and it's really helped me sort of ease the transition of losing my dog, and I really enjoy walking this guy. So you're going to see a lot of walking here in the last couple of weeks. But then on Thursday, more strength training in the morning, some walking with the dog, some easy riding, and back to Pilates again. Friday, back to the pool and more walking. Saturday, I did a little bit of cycling, easy cycling, because I wanted to basically test my bike out. I signed up to go do a nice long ride on Sunday with some friends, and got out to Chapel Hill, an environment I've never actually ridden in before. Some friends of mine are training for Ironman Chattanooga coming up in September, so they had this like 80-mile ride to go and do. I went ahead and did about 60 miles, 58 miles of that. Took me 3 hours, 21 minutes. Really average, so really happy with my average and nominal power here, a little over 206 watts for over 3 hours. And, as you just saw, this is coming off of barely riding my bike for 2 weeks. So really ripped the Band-Aid off last Sunday. And by Monday, I was really feeling it. Swimming in the pool the Monday after that 60-mile ride, I was fatigued. Had a nice little walk after that, but I really took it easy on Monday. But Tuesday, back to the grind. Strength training in the morning, and oh my gosh, this Tuesday I did some Bulgarian split squats. I haven't really done them in weeks, but I've done plenty of them over the last year. I decided to go for two 15-pound dumbbells. Got through the first set of 10, and I could tell I had already done too much. But I was like, oh no. But I did another set, 5 on each side, and I could tell right away that, I had maybe pulled a little bit of something in my right hamstring, maybe my abductor. I was kind of walking around like a baby giraffe, and I just felt like, welcome back to strength training, I've spent a lot of time focusing on strength training over the last year, but I'm still kind of new to it. But I got in there, I got it done, did those split squats, did some farmer's carries and some other core work. And then I went and got on my bike again on Tuesday, followed by a run. We only ran for about 1.6 miles and then back into the Pilates studio, strength again. So Tuesdays are really busy. Wednesday to the pool. Also went and did a little bit of a run on Wednesday and then back to strength class, more Pilates. On Thursday, we had strength training in the morning. As you can tell, I really went kind of wild here. More strength training. Friday, we had some more swimming. Oh, so much training last week. Lots of Pilates and riding my bike and running and swimming. It really is a lot. On Saturday, I went out and ran 5 miles, almost 5 miles for my birthday. A good friend of mine, Josh, joined me for the run, which was a nice surprise. Which brings us to yesterday, where I went and did a 30-mile ride. Had 2 10-minute zone 4 intervals to do. Knocked those both out around 300 watts. And then I did the rest of my time, about 30 minutes at zone 3, about 235 watts. And I felt pretty dang tired afterwards. So, my first interval ride yesterday was exciting. I felt good, but it's definitely evident today on Monday. I went swimming this morning. My training readiness score this morning was a 1 out of 100. So it's very clear, and you'll also see when we take a look at my training status and my load, when we take a look at the Garmin data, it's very possible that I'm doing too much too soon. It's very possible that I'm overreaching, but I am confidently optimistic that that is not the case because I feel good. I feel like it's just sort of getting back into the swing of things. So that being said, thank you so much again to TriSchedule. We really sprinted through the last couple of weeks of training, but again, there wasn't really too much to talk about there. So the final thing we're going to do today is we'll take a look at my status, my training status, and some of my other metrics when we take a look at my Garmin Connect info here. So let's take a look at that. All right, so previous 4 weeks training status. We got some colors here that aren't really desirable. So starting right after I got back from the trip, my HRV status really tanked. I had some trouble adjusting to the sleep, getting back on my feet after international traveling. So I managed to have a recovery training status during my time in Italy. But when I got back, my HRV really started to tank. So that put me in a strained training status. Now, as you can see, right around that time, my training volume was very low while I was in Italy, like single-digit numbers on some of these days, which is very rare for me. Got back, started evenly building back up, and then went and did that 60-mile ride, which shot me right from below my optimal range to right to the top of the optimal range. And then last week, I just kept piling it on. I kind of hit the ground running, more and more training. By the time I'm at like Wednesday or Thursday, I'm already exceeding the optimal range of training. You can see my HRV came back up into unbalanced, but then unfortunately, my HRV does tank a bit here because I kind of celebrated a little bit too much all weekend. I had several alcoholic drinks on my birthday and several more the day after and several the day before my birthday. So I really just kind of shot myself in the foot as far as my recovery went. It was coming back up, but then I sort of shot myself in the foot here with a couple days of excess. So I also managed to pop way up over my optimal range, which gave me the coveted overreaching training status. So as you can see, I've been fluctuating between strained training status due to my low HRV scores, and anytime my HRV is normal or unbalanced instead of low, I'm getting hit with overreaching. It'll be interesting to see, as my training progresses, when this HRV status gets back to normal. I'm hopeful that maybe even by next week when I make my next video, we might be back in the normal range. One other thing to note, I was looking at this. Very few times throughout the year do I let my HRV really crash. It's really like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the last year, my HRV has crashed to low only 6 times. The last time it crashed to low, and it was much lower, was actually after Ironman Texas, which makes sense. So after Ironman Texas, I got buried. What's interesting is that this recent flight, you know, coming back from Italy and then having to adjust my sleep schedule, that ended up being a similar amount of stress on my body. It didn't get quite as low as after Ironman Texas, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. And you can also see that my training volume has actually dipped lower this week in Italy. It dipped lower than it did during my recovery after Ironman Texas. I mean, after Ironman Texas, I was hiking a whole bunch. I didn't really stop. But when I got to Florence, I stopped and my load went even lower. So as you can see, I haven't taken that much of a break since April. I think that was a really, really good opportunity for me to, take a little bit of a break. So that's everything for today. I appreciate you tuning in, checking in with me. I'm checking in with y'all. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I posted an update. If you have anything new in your own triathlon training life that is exciting and you want to share it, I would love to hear about it in the comments section below. If you have any questions about the training that I'm doing or anything I've got going on or anything I talked about in today's video or anything about this wonderful city behind me here, I mean, it was an awesome place to visit. Go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. Why not? I'll be back next week with more triathlon training information. We'll probably dive into my workouts with a little bit more resolution and talk a little bit about my plans because they're kind of shifting with the race I was training for getting canceled. I will say that I'd like to race at least one more sprint distance triathlon this year, and if I'm lucky, maybe 2, but we'll figure that all out very soon, and I will let y'all know as soon as I know what's going on in the next training video I make here. So, that's all for today. Thanks again. Shout out to TriSchedule and shout out to the Powerhouse Patriots Foundation for powering all of my coaching and training needs. I am so lucky to have the support that I do, and I want to thank you for supporting me too. Take care.